So I don't go off the edge.
I see that.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I am happy to have you here today.
And I'm happy to be here.
I'm hoping that tea shows up. Do you drink tea?
No.
You will today.
But I will today.
You will today.
I have been wanting to try Tupelo
You will
tea.
today, and you will like it.
That's great. I need
Good.
to like tea. It's
Okay.
good for you.
We're glad to have you,
Or
Mayor.
am I having green tea?
Huh?
Am I
don't
having
know.
green tea?
I see the lights on, and I'm hoping that they show up with some tea because I can't wait for my Tupelo tea from Tom and Donna here. Mayor, how are you?
I'm wonderful. How are you?
Well, let's get started. The city looks great. I've seen the flags around the city. Tell us a little bit about the parade and what our guests and people that visit are coming up this weekend can expect around the city of Blue Ridge.
I think the city will be packed this weekend. Our parades are always wonderful. We always have lots of children and adults downtown that are excited to see all the antique cars and all the different things. But we have a real special visitor tomorrow. We have a 1930 fire truck that was donated to us by Wiles Pierce, who was one of the owners of Blue Ridge Scenic Railway. And as he retired and sold the company, that was one of his donations. And it also has a calliope. Unfortunately, we may not have the calliope in the back of it tomorrow, but look forward to the first parade we get to have the fire truck and the calliope in. But it's going to be exciting. I think I'm going to be in the fire truck. I did a test run yesterday. And
You think you're going to be in a fire truck?
I think I'm going to do the fire truck tomorrow. I usually am in a car, but it has a siren on the passenger side that somebody has to wind up, and I sure did have fun doing that yesterday. So I think I might do a fire truck ride.
Okay, so if we hear
If you hear a lot of noise, that will be me.
Here comes the mayor.
Yeah.
So now I understand you're one of the judges tonight.
I am. That's going to be exciting. Our new light up Blue Ridge Lake.
Yeah, I like that. You're going to be one of the judges tonight, and now, do you have any favorites? Because you're a judge. I like to ask judges if they've already got a favorite. No, just joking.
The nice thing is, I don't even know who's in the boat parade at this point. This is the first time. Haven't heard anyone tell me that their boat's in there, so it's going to be.
Look, folks.
Yay!
Tom is here.
Hey,
Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Thank
morning.
you, Tom. Tom,
welcome.
Tupelo tea. What am I drinking here, real quick?
That's our raspberry green tea. A little bit sweetened with agave.
Oh, this is unreal. This is
Oh,
unreal.
good. Nice.
I say for 3 hours every day, and I keep going over, and I look at the sign. I say,
It's come.
soon. So what
Well,
can
actually, we're going to do a soft opening today.
soft opening today?
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and take the sign off the door, and we're not completely ready, but we're able to brew teas and sell loose tea, so we're gonna go ahead and do that today.
But all weekend it's
All weekend.
open.
Yeah, I think so.
It's official.
We'll see how it works.
Well, folks, Tom and Donna at Tupelo Tea, they have worked so hard. We have watched every Friday here for weeks. They've worked so hard to get this ready. And as I have said, their timing, you guys make sure you put out a good product.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you don't rush the product, and the tea is great. And you get a soft opening this afternoon at the shops at Sycamore Crossing, and expect all weekend long to stop by and say hello to Tom or Donna and get some Tupelo tea. Thank you
All right,
very
thanks.
much, Tom.
Good to see you, Tom.
I love this. I'm telling you.
That's
I'm
good.
just I talk about it all week when I get up here. Now we have a garbage truck. We have a crane in the background. How's our audio, Lonnie? Okay, you're gonna have to speak up though, because this is Blue Ridge, and what I love about the city is the activity that is going on all the time here. This is a bustling little town, and there's so many great things happening. Now, might have to speak up a little bit, but you had a meeting at the city park, and I am hearing, one day I hear this, and one day I hear that, and then I don't know really what to think. Can you give us some kind of, you just left a meeting there, summary of what's happening downtown at the city park?
Well, I did. I actually had a little meeting this morning. Basically, the plan started out to do a arboretum with a playground in the park. And the council started this project 2 years ago. The fall of 2014 is when we started talking about it. And one of the grants was coming from Kiwanis for their 100th year anniversary, so they were going to buy playground equipment. And the other
Kiwanis for the 100th year anniversary, it
Which
might be a
was-
little loud, was going to purchase the playground equipment. Is that what I hear?
That's correct.
To use, okay.
Or help purchase the
Well,
playground.
help purchase it.
And so they were applying for their grant, but they got held up. It did not happen during their 100th year, which there was a lot of playground money, grant money out there during the 100th year. Now we've kind of made some decisions at the beginning of the year, and they were able to apply for the grant. They may not be able to get as much money, and they could get no money, but last year they were really putting a lot of money out there for playgrounds, so we may have missed a good window of opportunity. But we still have some people, you know, the city council is committed in going forward no matter what. We've been talking about this, like I said, for 2 years. It's a wonderful project. It's going to be great for our kids. The kids are going to be real excited. We got a $120,000 grant for landscaping. Part of the landscaping has been done. There's still a lot of landscaping to be done at this point. There's some more trees that go in. There's some more sod some more shrubs and bushes and flowers and things like that. But we didn't do both sides of the park at the same time. As you noticed, we've done half of it and the other half, and there's still a few things that will go in the park that's been completed. But some things have changed lately. The council, I actually was out of the country at the last council meeting, and they've made some changes. They want to do some things differently. So basically, I'm not sure where they're headed with the park at this point. I've been told lots of different things. They're wanting to move the playground equipment, but the grants are kind of specific. There was a discussion about moving playground equipment over to the other park and just ordering some different equipment for this park to try to speed things up. But, you know, with grants, they're very specific. When you turn in a conceptual report or you turn in some type of drawing, they pretty much expect you to stay with that drawing.
When you send a rendering in and a report, and you say, if you give us the money, we'll do this, that's pretty much what you need to do if you're asking for the money. Is that my understanding? In any grant that I've ever been involved in, if you change something, you have to do it through the correct process. A change order with the grant that we got for the landscaping, or actually it's foundation money, there's been some things that were tweaked or changed, some things that were left out. There was a sidewalk left out. Some of the council members didn't want to put a sidewalk in that was in the drawing. And I actually talked with the chair of that foundation just to make sure if he was going to have an issue. And basically, you know, he said, well, if you don't put the sidewalk in, we don't give you the money for it. So, you know, you can leave out things and not get money, but you still have to do basically the plan as they approved it, which is a park and a playground combined, but the park kind of focuses around the playground. And so as long as they don't veer off of that too much, they shouldn't have to give up their foundation money. We have gotten $60,000 of that $120,000. What is the? I hate to have to give it back. You know, I go to the city council meetings, and I'd be the first to say I'm a little lost on some of the things that are happening. I mean, it just seemed like month after month after month, and no disrespect, I actually come down to the barbecue that they have for the Good Samaritan. The Good Samaritans have their Labor Day barbecue, right? They've had it for years, but like, what is the discussion on the grill and where this goes and that goes? I mean, where are we at on all that, and what's the discussion on that? Well, when we started back at the first of this year and kind of decided we were going, well, actually we started last year and we're going to go with the park plan, but we still had some issues and some things. We still had some folks asking us to leave the grill in the spot it's in. There were lots of rumors out there, lots of incorrect rumors. There's still lots of rumors out there. The council never, ever decided to move the Good Samaritans out of the park. That was never, ever part of the conversation. They were going to relocate them in the park into a couple of other areas, and there were several locations we looked at, but big part of the Good Samaritan folks that I know have said, you know, we're okay with any location. It's your park, you know, so you guys just need to make the decision. But we had some that wanted to stay in the same place, and the council had basically said all along up until, 2 or 3 weeks ago? Right. Whenever my last council meeting was, the second Tuesday of every month, and the one that I missed, they've now decided to let the
barbecue pit stay in place, but prior to that, it was going to be relocated. So the design was pretty much the playground equipment was going where the barbecue pit was, because that area didn't have the drainage issues that the lower part of the park had. Even though we were lucky kind of in the 11th hour as to get some dirt and put about 200 loads of dirt in there to level that up, you still have a lot of water that comes off of 76, the upper street and 76, and then you still get a lot from the First Baptist Church all the way down. And our stormwater pipe there does not carry all of it, so it's going to go onto our grass. It's going to jump the curb and get into the grass, and you still have some drainage issues, even with all the excess dirt we've put in. We're still going to have water, but not as bad. It's not going to be a pond anymore. It was a pond before, and that's what we should have probably done with it. Just made it a pond and put some fish in it.
Well, you know, let's say this: the park. Wasn't it part of the master plan that was laid out for everybody to look at and see and kind of? I mean,
it was a piece of the master plan, and it was
a piece in the master plan, because didn't everybody get an opportunity? Like the arts came, they came over, and they looked at how many tents they would be able to get in for vendors, and didn't everybody get a chance to go through this and look at maybe the best way to lay things out a long time ago?
Yes, and Arts in the Park is the largest festival we have, and it's a great festival, and they have the one in the spring at Memorial Day. And in doing things, the gentleman that did the landscaping architect, who is a wonderful guy, he did a great job for us, but he didn't get all the answers that he needed or the feedback from the council, so he kind of had to go on what he felt like would work, and his plan's great. There's nothing wrong with his plan. We added 200 loads of dirt after he did his plan, so it's kind of spread out and it's bigger than it had planned to be. We got 4,500 more square feet of park space with adding that dirt. And it's basically his conceptual report. Just some things were left out, like I said, the sidewalks and things like that. And there's some things that I was needing him to go back in and redo and redraw for me. But of course, at this point, I think Ms. Arp is going to take over the project, and that is okay with me, because she has a whole nother plan. But they've decided to leave.
Wait, don't gloss over she has a whole nother plan. What did that mean?
Well, let me go there in a minute. But
okay.
Anyway, with Arts in the Park, I spent a lot of days there, and had several other council members that came by, and Miss Arp, Angie Arp, also was there. She had asked for things to be burned up and things like that, and I was fine with that. And the plan didn't say you could or couldn't, so you know, and I think everything looks great. And she said several times she thinks it looks great also. But in doing what we did there, we were very mindful of Arts in the Park, because it draws a lot of folks to this area. So things were placed strategically to make sure there was enough space to fit their tents in. The tents are 12 by 12. So when there are trees and things, those were in breaks that we could do. And she can actually, with the way it's laid out, you can actually put 44 tents in the landscaped area that we have completed now. So that's been laid out. And so she had 50 tents there before, and with the way the playground was going to lay out, there was still some room for her to go over to that area. But now I'm not sure, and I'm actually not part of the park project anymore, so you'll have to start getting your information from someone else. But had a great plan. Don't know how it became so negative. Any kind of change, any kind of upgrade, and any kind of major improvement like we were doing. I mean, $120,000 for landscaping. Park equipment's probably going to be about $80,000 to $100,000. Really cool park equipment that the kids were going to like. Not sure that equipment's going to be bought. One of our council members, she's found some other park equipment, so I don't know. So those will be her questions, but it was a great plan, a great concept, but there has been so many rumors around it and so much negativity, rather than folks, you know, people will see me out or call me every once in a while, but once they hear what we're doing, they're fine with it. You know, they're fine with the upgrades and the improvements. Those that have listened to rumors and didn't call and get the truth, those are the ones that have the issues.
Well, my concern is, you know, you're saying, well, you are the mayor of the city. You're saying, hey, I'm not in the park project. I was there. We do have it on FetcherNews.com. We have it on the video. And I was there when they made a motion, and Ms. Arp, Councilwoman Arp, took the lead on the park. But it's kind of like, the way I look at it, it's like, well, yeah, but it's still the citizens, because everybody that gets elected is elected to serve the citizens. So, you know, it's kind of like, we've been talking about park for 2 years, and we're talking a couple 100,000 plus, right?
Probably 250 to 300,000, because we know the surface material is about 30 to, you know, with the changes, it could be $35,000.
Well, I'm not saying $250,000 to redo downtown. It's a bustling city. It's beautiful. It's done a great job. It's growing. It's growing at a very even rate to where it's a balance. And, you know, we have festivals here where we see 10,000 people sometimes, you know?
Correct.
Let's change directions, though, because money is money, and it's always the citizens' money. What do you think? I'm going to ask you candidly, what do you think from start to now, that has been spent to find out if you legally can be mayor of the city? What do you think off the top of your head? Just throw a number out. What do you think has been spent to find out if you could be mayor of this city?
In legal fees this time, because this is a second round.
Yeah, this is the second round, right?
This is the second round. I mean, our attorney had sent out a great email years ago that, you know, domicile and residency and how all of that works. And, you know, even, can I mention another news source on your thing?
Yeah, go ahead. You can mention.
Even the News Observer, before you started, even investigated this, and they said, you know, it's a dead issue. She's legally a resident. Glenn Harbison himself said, I've seen you walk out of your apartment. We know there's something there. But I sent all the documentation where, when I built my building in 2006, everybody knew it was going to be a residence. The funny thing is, most of the council know that before I moved to that residence, I also had a residence in my old building on Highway 5. So that's not unusual for me to have an apartment in my building, because I've always done that.
Well, the reason I say that is, you know, and I know before we opened FetcherNews.com, in your first term when you started, there was the question, but recently, the lead to a $35,000 investigation, the lead into that was whether you violated the charter and could you legally be mayor. That was the lead into that. And for me, I mean, would you just off the top of your head say that you have a lot of city employees that don't make $35,000 a year?
You're correct.
Right?
And I have a lot of them that are worth $35,000 a year.
Right, but a lot of them don't make $35,000 a year.
Mm-hmm.
So you could probably you could build the park and hire a full-time city employee for what you paid to clean the park just to find out if you could be mayor. I mean, I'm trying to put it in perspective because it's frustrating to me. And then on top of that, the outside legal bills that have incurred for the last couple of years.
Well, and you know, once our attorney had sent the letter, you know, I get different emails and correspondences from council members that we should always follow what our attorney does, and, you know, that he's always right. The email's there from years ago. Why did we not accept that rather than let someone come in, make a statement, and ask for a legal investigation to be done? I mean, and I'm fine. I'm actually glad they did it, but I hate the money's been spent. If we could go back to those folks that were complaining, and there's a handful of them, and we know who they are. If they
I have the video. You don't say it. I have the video. I played it. I played it the other day. You can go to FetcherNews.com right now, go to our YouTube channel, and go through there.
Yeah.
Mr. Crane, Patrick Crane, went to the podium. I have the video. He went to the podium, and he said, shall. I'll never forget, because he said, shall be removed. One of them's incompetence, okay, shall be removed. And then I have the video of Councilwoman Arp making the motion to do it. I mean, I have the video. So, I mean, it's not, we can mention the name. The name's out there. We have the video, and it's costed $35,000 to this city, to the taxpayers. That could be used for a lot of other things.
Well, we also had council members that had asked for the advice of our attorney, and so that's spent several $1,000s.
Several
too.
thousand.
Several thousand.
Well, has anybody like commented like, when Gerard and Davis, and we get off this because we're about at the end of our show, and I thank you for coming by, and I want to leave some time if there's anything today that we didn't talk about, you want to make sure you got on our video that we put up. But has anybody on the council, have you heard anybody like say, we owe the citizens an apology, or I mean, when Gerard and Davis left after they gave the report, when Ken Gerard left, I mean, 35,000, that wasn't an like, has anybody said anything? I mean, have you heard anything?
Not that I'm aware of, but one thing that I think we all forget, when we have one or two folks that come in to complain, we represent 1,290 residents in this city.
Absolutely.
And if you don't have a huge majority of those folks calling you, you might ought to think about where you're spending your money. You pass a budget, and then you pass some different things throughout the year that are, maintenance issues or things that kind of didn't fall within the scope of your budget. But when you make pretty good-sized decisions like that just really don't give you, that something the voters have already voted on, you really need to be careful. You need to get the consensus of the majority and not just a handful of people before you spend $35,000 or $40,000 or $50,000. Granted, this probably cost $50,000 before it was over.
Well, I just
35 to Gerard and Davis, and no telling how much to our attorney and how much else has been spent.
Yeah, 50. Yeah, I'd say 50 easy, 50,000 easy.
How much time has been taken away from employees to go through paperwork and get information?
How many 3-hour council meetings, and I could go on and on and on and on.
And I'll apologize to everybody that's had to sit through those, but and to the residents for the money that they spent trying to prove that. But all they had to do was come knock on my door at my apartment and ask to see. It's not a room, it's a house. It's a living room, kitchen, laundry room, 2-bath, 2-bedroom. And I think the thing that throws up the red flag is, people look on Q Public or whatever, and there are 5 houses under my name. I own other homes. I own a home on a creek. I own a place on, at Starlight. I own a place on Highway 5. I have other houses.
So they can look that up. That just doesn't
so,
mean, that doesn't mean...
I don't get homestead exemption on any of them.
Well, I didn't have a brain freeze on account of Tupelo T, but I had a brain freeze because I've lost track of the gentleman's last name, and I don't like to be unprofessional or rude. Talk a little bit about Roy's resignation. What's his last name? I just used to come in and call him Roy, so I'm so embarrassed.
Roy Parsons.
Roy Parsons. Oh, my apology. Tell us a little bit about Roy. He's the head of planning and zoning department, and he's July 7th, I think it is, off the top of my head, is his last day that he'll be there. Tell us a little bit about his resignation, what reasons he gave, and what do you think the future is there?
The future is very dim for the city of Blue Ridge right now with Roy retiring, because Roy's a big asset to our city. He came from a background from Dalton, so he's had a lot of experience, a lot of knowledge. He knows a lot of folks. He knows the people to call if we have issues on state level, through the regional commissions and things like that, and he has good working relationships with those people. He has good working relationships with our business owners and our landowners in town. They're all going to miss him because he's a wealth of knowledge. It's hard to get that. You hear people say everybody can be replaced, and they can. It's just going to be difficult to replace him.
Yeah, but that wasn't, Mr. Parsons didn't that wasn't a planned resignation, retirement. It's not like, everybody knew Roy's leaving in 3 weeks. That was pretty abrupt, was it not?
It was. Last I had heard, he was going to retire in April. He would have 10 years in April with the city.
April of 2017?
2017, yes.
He'd have 10 years he was going to retire. So did this catch you off guard, his retirement?
Yes and no.
Are you concerned about the Ada Street LLC? Maybe you can't talk about it because of legal issues. Are you concerned about that litigation that the city's in right now?
I'm not concerned. I've been removed from that.
I know you've been
I'm not
removed.
part of that, so I don't know a lot about it, except what the project is, and I'll, this part is basically Miss Arps being sued personally, and the rest of us have pretty much been removed from the lawsuit in the city.
Well, let me ask you something before we close. Isn't it enjoyable being the mayor of this city and sitting here and listening to everything churning up for the day?
It is. Progress is great.
It is, because we've been here every Friday. We're broadcasting here every Friday throughout the summer, and we're at the shops at Sycamore Crossing, and we start at 8 a.m., and it's a nice, quiet city, and I see the city workers, and they're blowing off the sidewalk, and they're cleaning, and we just watch the delivery trucks to the restaurants, and we watch this thing start out every Friday morning. It's great. I actually, for one, it's background noise, but I love the background noise because it's everything live about it, and it's a lot of fun.
You have a wonderful workspace on Fridays.
I do. I got a maid, don't I?
You do.
Got a maid.
Great place to hang out.
Great. That's exactly right. Did we forget anything that you wanted to share today that you had on your mind that you wanted to share with us?
No, just want to encourage everybody to come out for all the festivities this weekend in Blue Ridge. The parade Saturday morning, the boat parade tonight at the lake, fireworks tomorrow night. Yes, I'm a judge. That's going to be fun.
It is.
I'm always excited when we have new festivals and things that pop up.
Well, the lady's telling me it's going to take an hour, so that's really a great family outing that doesn't cost anything. You can go check out all these boats on the lake. Well, hey, have I told you I was in a movie yesterday?
I heard, and were you part of the helicopter scene that
No.
landed at my furniture store?
No, I wasn't part of the helicopter scene. The helicopter scene I wasn't part of, but I was out on the lake. We went out on the lake, and it was great because, that's going to air on CBS.
Yes.
I don't know when it airs, but it's called Hunted.
Hunted,
Yeah. It's going to air on CBS.
We're the end series, I think.
We're the end, yes.
The very end.
Yeah,
the best is last.
That plane, yes, Lake Blue Ridge, that plane took off from Lake Blue Ridge, and the contestants, the winners, I've got the video. Lisa has the video, and we have pictures. But the contestants ran down the dock and got on that plane, and it took off. It was just great.
Did you spoil the end for them? You just told it. Did you tell why they ran?
Were we live? Probably. Did
Probably.
I tell? Because they win. I don't know. Just say it. They won $250,000.
It's pretty cool.
I was out on the boat. We had to sign a release because we're in the backdrop of the film. Okay, so when we came in off the boat, but I'm out on the boat and I'm thinking, okay, they're gonna run down here. They're winning $250,000. They're gonna get in this plane and take off and get out of here. I'm thinking, how do I get that $250,000? How do I drop that? Thank you very much for visiting us, Mayor.
Thank you.
We're gonna take a brief break. Now listen, you come back anytime. We're here on Friday mornings. Good morning, Eric. We're here on Friday mornings. Every Friday morning here, you come by and say hello anytime, okay?
I will. Thank you.
And I'll see you tonight, maybe at the parade.
I will, and I'm taking my tea with me because this is good.
It is good,
and I'm
right?
not a tea drinker, but I like this.
That's right, Tupelo tea. Okay, we're going to take a brief break, Lonnie, and we're going to come back and wrap the show up. We close at 10 o'clock. We're going to wrap up. We're just going to take a brief break and then come back and wrap the show up this morning. Got a couple ending thoughts. So I'm your host, BKP. Good morning from beautiful downtown Blue Ridge. Lonnie, take us to break.